the 12 minor prophets. They are shorter prophetic books in the Old Testament, a title which refers to the shortness of the books. Hosea, meaning salvation. His own troubled marriage becomes a living parable of God's faithful love and Israel's unfaithfulness. Hosea shows that God still calls them back to mercy and restoration. Joel speaks during a devastating locust plague. Using it as a sign of the coming day of the Lord, he calls the people to true repentance and promises that God will one day pour out his Spirit on all people. A vision fulfilled in the New Testament. Amos, the shepherd prophet, steps into a society full of injustice and empty religion. His voice is bold and uncompromising, condemning corruption and oppression. Yet even in judgment, Amos offers hope if the people return to God. Restoration awaits. Obadiah, the shortest book in the Old Testament, announces judgment on Edom for its pride and cruelty toward Judah. But he also looks ahead to a future where God restores his people and establishes his kingdom in fullness. Jonah is the reluctant prophet who runs from God's call to preach Nineveh. After being swallowed by a great fish, he finally obeys, and the city repents. Jonah's story reveals God's compassion for all nations and exposes the narrowness of the human heart. Micah, who is like Yahweh, speaks with vivid rural imagery. Though little is known about his life, his message is clear. God calls for justice, mercy, and humility. Micah also foretells the Messiah's birth, echoing Isaiah's promise of Emmanuel. Nahum the consoler brings comfort to Judah by announcing the downfall of Assyria. His words to Nineveh highlight both God's justice and his mercy, showing that he defends those who remain faithful to him. Habakkuk dares to question God about the violence and injustice around him. God responds with a vision. Divine justice may seem delayed, but it is certain. The book ends with a powerful declaration of trust, even in hardship. Zephaniah, Yahweh protects, prophesies in the days of King Josiah. His message centers on the coming day of the Lord, a call to repentance for all nations. Yet he promises that God will preserve a faithful remnant and renew them with hope. Haggai appears after the exile, urging the people to rebuild the temple. He calls them to reorder their priorities and assures them that God's presence will fill the new temple with a glory greater than the first. Zechariah speaks through visions and symbols, encouraging the returned exiles with promises of cleansing, protection, and a coming king who brings peace. His prophecies echo strongly into the New Testament and point toward the Messiah. Malachi closes the Old Testament with a direct, honest dialogue between God and his people. He confronts spiritual apathy and broken faithfulness, yet promises that a messenger will come to prepare the way for the Lord, a promise fulfilled in the Gospels.